how's it going, guys? This is Liam and Tyler for Smack Talk Commentaries. We just got done watching SummerSlam. Don't expect a lot of these because we're not going to do it for we're not going to do it for Night of Champions. We're not going to do it for Hell in a Cell. We might do it for
I might record it for those pay-per-views and just send it to.
And I'll make you, and I'll never post it. I'll make you cry. Anyway, we might do stuff like the Big Four. We might do Survivor Series, Royal Rumble,
SummerSlam like today, and
WrestleMania. And if you're asking me to do the Big Four for TNA,
if you think those are Big Fours, you're retarded.
I love Austin Aries. Anyway, so today we're going to be talking about SummerSlam. This was an interesting show. There was a lot of drama, there was a lot of action, there was a lot of suspense. But most importantly, there was a lot of big surprises.
Yeah, pretty decent wrestling.
Not very much big surprises, because it was kind of predictable overall.
A lot of brutal moments for some things.
There was a lot of brutal moments, but there was a lot of moments. A lot of moments that you'll probably see in replays of the DVD and this, that, and the other thing.
And I have to say, I've been watching for 20 years.
Hello, Butler.
Hey,
Hello,
what's up?
Hello, the third person that saw this show and doesn't know what we're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know either.
I've been watching.
Then get out of the shot.
I'll stay out of your shot.
Asshole.
Stupid shot.
I've been watching wrestling for 20 years. I have to say, even though they had some mediocre matches, it was the best SummerSlam I've seen in a while. Because of match quality?
Honestly, this is probably one of the better. Honestly, for a modern SummerSlam, this was a really good SummerSlam.
Yeah.
You haven't had a lot of good SummerSlams, I think. Benoit, Randy Orton.
Yeah.
The Elimination Chamber at SummerSlam. A lot of the other ones kind of suck.
I'd say, some that haven't totally sucked, but, there's some of the shows, the past two, they weren't that great, but they had matches you'll remember fondly, like Punk versus Cena, and then last year you had Lesnar versus Triple H, and you also had a three-way match with Big Show, Cena, and CM Punk, but then also you think about a lot of the other matches you don't really remember too well. Also, Orton versus Christian in Extreme Rules match.
That was interesting, but we'll talk about Christian a little bit later. So let's just run down the pay-per-view and then give our reviews of each match and whatnot. Like every other smart show in the world.
I think also
like RVD, who is my favorite wrestler of all time. And the pre-show, which is RVD and my current favorite next to Bray Wyatt, wrestler Dean Ambrose, on the roster. How do you feel about that match? I really liked it, honestly.
I thought it was out of my top 5, one in top 30. It had intensity, had a good story. It didn't have the best story because it was a pre-show match and it's just the start of a. I hope it's the start of a feud because those guys would have an excellent feud. Just judging by this match, it was great. Ambrose is awesome. RVD is awesome. Ambrose being the leader of the Shield and also being whacked out of his mind. Awesome. I thought it was great having Big Show and Mark Henry out there because they kind of could counteract Reigns and Rollins. But, the ending just hit out of nowhere. I did not expect it. I thought maybe we would have a new champion or Ambrose would pin RVD because I personally think RVD, he's almost in the Jericho role nowadays where he's won the big titles. It's more like he's pushing young talent, making them look better. Look at Jericho. He doesn't win much nowadays, but he still makes people look good. But again, a great running tackle, I guess I'll call it, from Roman Reigns, which is his big move. Thought it was a great match.
The running shoulder tackle. Are we still going with my bit? You called it a spear. I called it a shoulder tackle. It's a modified shoulder tackle. I'm calling it.
Yeah, but I wish it would have been on the main card. Maybe even as much as I really like Natalia as a wrestler.
Honestly, if it was on the main card, I think it would have been match of the night. If not, it would have had a big contender with, honestly, my match of the night, since it was on the roster, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But this was a great match. Honestly, great storytelling. I love the Big Show being back as a face, but not coming back as like the baby kissing douchebag. Coming back as just sort of like one of the guys is like, hey, you got that? That's all you got?
That was an epic beard.
I love the fact that the crowd here, this is where I want to get into this. The crowd tonight was fantastic. Yeah. The crowd was great. And I'm not going to say it because it's like, it's a smart crowd. I'm an ROH fan. No, it was legit a really good crowd. They popped for the people they loved. They booed the people they hated. And one of my favorite moments of the night, probably on my top 5, was when RVD was going for the leg drop on Ambrose, which was one of the coolest spots of the night.
The crowd exploded.
And the crowd, all of them doing the RVD chant, just made me pop and made me just love life for like 5 seconds.
It was excellent.
Then he went back to hating life.
And then I went back to eating, fuck you.
Cameraman is giving his 2 cents.
Shut up, Butler. Anyway.
That was an important editorial message.
Anyway.
I expect this on my desk by 9 tomorrow.
Suck this. Anyway, I would definitely give this match 4 out of 5. There were some great spots, really fast pace. Great moments, always great moments, and great psychology from Ambrose. And RVD is kind of notorious for not having good psychology, but pretty good match. I still love RVD. How do you feel?
Originally, I was giving it a 4. I think more 4.5 because you compare it to, it's a show that if it would have been a world title match, would have been an amazing main event.
Would have been fantastic.
And if they would have taken out the Shield, or they still had him out there, but it had the decisive ending, no, that would have been excellent. But it still was a great match, and the ending really didn't take anything away from it.
Absolutely fantastic match. Next one, and we finally get on the roster. The set list with Bray Wyatt and Kane in a Ring of Fire match, which is nothing more than a combination of an Inferno match and a Lumberjack match, or a Catcher's Catch Can match.
Right.
If you are a WCW fan like myself. I really like this storyline-wise. Technically, it wasn't that sound, but Wyatt sold like hell. Not like in the shit way, but in the really good well. He was a fucking boss in here. Took 3 choke slams and sold them all like they were just like explosions from a bomb. This guy is fantastic. I would say he is like the next Rikishi, which is the big man that can do a lot of good stuff. Or would that be Mark Henry? I don't know which. I really liked it. I love the shenanigans with Luke Harper and Eric Rowan. More Vader. I love the shenanigans with Luke Harper and Eric Rowan outside. That was one of the funniest moments tonight. And you mentioned it before when we tried to record this was when Luke Harper tried to give Bray Wyatt a kendo stick over fire. I was just like, that is the most hysterical thing in the world. Because here's this wooden instrument being lit on fire, and Bray Wyatt's like, you're a fucking idiot, what the hell is wrong with you? But yeah, of course, they put over Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt, my only complaint with this match is that Bray Wyatt doesn't look strong. He comes off like, okay, he took a bunch of shit, and if it wasn't for Luke Harper and Eric Rowan, he would have lost. Other than that, I really like this storyline-wise, and after the match was really, really creepy and scary and interesting. How do you feel about this?
I thought the match was very good. I thought it was a great opening. I do wish it would have been a little later on the card almost, because it felt like a match maybe that should have been in the final 4 matches because of the great story they had built behind it the last couple of weeks. It felt like a very personal match. There wasn't much wrestling in it as brawling, but in a match like this, it should have had more brawling in it. Everything with Rowan and Harper was awesome. It made me chuckle at points because you got this really dark match
And then you got Abbott and Costello out there
Right.
trying to do like.
And it's like you got the ending. But first, before I get to that, the choke slams, like Liam said, they were some of the most brutal choke slams I've ever seen. I'm so happy that Bray Wyatt has been able to get over the fans bringing back the Husky Harris thing, chanting that, because I personally thought that was very disrespectful. Because he is a genuinely good wrestler. Just like, you know, Mike Rotundo, his dad, as I'm not trying to be a mark, but
IRS for you wrestling fans
obviously,
at home.
for people who watch NXT, they would know that also because in the past, Bray Wyatt, when what's his name?
Bo Dallas.
Bo Dallas was Bo
He was
Rotundo.
Bo Rotundo.
He was tagging with his brother, and his brother had his real name.
Husky Rotundo, right?
Yeah, something like that. But the ending, that was, again, I've been watching this for 20 years. That was one of the creepiest things I've seen in wrestling.
I mean, minus the fact that they used, spoil it, after the match they dragged Kane out and they put his head on the steps. Like a butchered lamb, they just take the other steel steps and they did the same thing like they did in the intro of it, where they just kicked his head and whatnot. Instead, they dropped it on his head. My only problem is that they used the empty part of it, which doesn't really hurt.
Right.
But I can see why they did that.
It did look sick though, in my opinion, because with that, it more looked like they decapitated him.
Yeah, it does.
And,
it really does.
I think, just like even with that little quirk, you know, nowadays in any company, this isn't dissing anyone in particular, a lot of companies don't do something edgy like that. And especially having a cult leader gimmick. The last time I saw anything as edgy as that, and I'm a big punk fan, sometimes too big of a
Swear
punk
to God,
fan.
if you mention straight edge society.
Well, more of the look, that he looked like
Oh, you
a
mean where
crazy guy.
He looked like Charles Manson.
And the things
yeah.
he was saying were insane. The whole stable wasn't because, you know, they were regular things.
They were
but
militant.
Punk, in the thing with Bray Wyatt is the charisma really... Because when he was Husky Harris, when he had that gimmick, he couldn't really show off the charisma. But he has insane amounts of charisma, that guy. He is...
Absolutely.
And like Liam said about big guys, you know, he's insane. Not many big guys are willing to take bumps like that, or can take bumps like that.
Absolutely fantastic. We forgot to mention a thing that was a running gag throughout the whole show that pissed me off all the time was The Miz is the host of SummerSlam, and the whole running gag was that he was being interrupted by Fandango. And he would just go out and be like, really? Really? I'm trying to host this
terrible.
And Fandango... It was fucking irritating.
I just have something against when they have guest hosts like that. I didn't mind with The Rock.
No. It's not even the fact that, like, Miz was the guest. It was the fact that they used a stupid running gag that wasn't funny, and they did it over and over again to try to make it funny. It wasn't funny.
And the
it was
product
annoying.
placement, too, was
Powered by Doritos Jack.
was
Like
insane. That was insane. That was almost as bad as the Skittles with Jim Ross back in the day.
Oh, and the front row VIP seats
Yeah,
that
the
are just
front row-
basically right in front of
that
the...
they were only there for one match.
Which we'll mention a
One
little bit
match.
later.
Oh, don't forget our friend, Mr. Doritos Jack, the guy in
Yes.
the t-shirt.
We'll
Yes.
mention it.
But can I
Alright.
give my rating?
Yeah, go right ahead. I was going to go.
Rating of the match would be 8. I wouldn't give it a 4. I'd give it a 3.5 because I think maybe 2 if they gave it more time. If they maybe, again, I liked the Divas match. It was that came on later in the show. It served its purpose. And when you have a wrestler like Natalia in there who's a natural, you know, I've never seen her in a bad match. But, you know, 3.5 because if it had more time, I think it would have been amazing. Even better.
I would give it probably the same amount. If it was 5, I would probably... If it was more storyline driven, I would like it a lot more. And it was really story driven, but technically it wasn't really sound. Then again, it was a Kane match, so there's that. Next one up, we'll probably breeze through this one like fucking butter water.
Sandow?
Because half of our viewing experience was kind of botched up in this one.
Yeah.
Was Damian Sandow against Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes wins. That's really all.
All I can really add to it was I am a fan of Cody Rhodes, And I think his two finishers are very cool looking. And Damien Sandow, I like him, but his gimmick kinda has been getting
old and annoying.
It worked well when he was in the Rhodes Scholars because it added something.
The problem with I don't like. I can go into a 5-hour rant. I'm gonna make this 5 seconds. Just like Fandango, they dropped the ball. They dropped the ball on Damien Sandow. He had a lot of potential, but instead they turned him into like, oh well, now I'm just a jokey heel and and they just turned him into a joke, and it sucked.
Even with the technical issues we had,
the match was average.
The briefcase. I do like the new briefcase because it actually looks like a legitimate briefcase.
That looks awesome. It looks very awesome. I love it to death. So a briefcase, I'd give 5.
Okay.
This match, I haven't seen enough of it because of our technical issues. So I would probably not rate it. But if I did give it a rating, probably 3 out of 5.
I agree with Liam, but I would give it a 3, maybe a 2.5, because from what we saw, which was a big bulk of the match we were able to see, it felt more like a SmackDown match or a Raw match.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like it should have been on a pay-per-view. Maybe if they would have kept the gimmick of if Cody Rhodes won, he got the Money in the Bank, it would have added drama to it. But this just seems like I hope this isn't a blow-off to anything.
That would really suck to bring back to the 80s. Speaking of the 80s, I would have dropped this to a 1 just because Cody Rhodes shaved off his mustache.
Yes.
What the fuck? He looked like Rick Rude. It was awesome. Anyway, what was the next match after this?
The next match was, my opinion, the best match of the night.
Was this the Christian
versus Alberto Del Rio?
I would absolutely 100% agree.
The reason I say that was out of all the matches, the action was the best. They even though it didn't have a massive storyline behind it, it felt like to me, I'm sure I'll get a few comments saying don't really agree. It really felt like the matches of, Benoit and Angle, Jericho and Benoit, because these two guys went at it for, I'd say 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and there was non-stop. One person would hit a move, guy would counter, hit a move to him. Or Del Rio. Del Rio does insane kicks.
Yeah,
the sound
absolutely.
Those kicks make
they were vicious.
Are brutal.
Absolutely vicious. I know some people would be like, this is the best match on the card because Christian's a real talent. They'll give no credit to Alberto.
Del Rio's a great talent.
Del Rio's kicks alone sold me on this match. Because he would do like 9, they were all fucking vicious.
Yeah.
They were all brutal. They all hurt like son of a bitch motherfuckers. And like, I love Christian, but I've gotten to the point where Christian, I'm guessing his character is, I will attempt to win if I don't break something in the process or get a concussion. He's like the walking, talking crash test dummy. He's gonna get injured in a match whether you like it or not. I love the match psychology, the brutality of it, the fast-paced nature of it really reminded me of something from PWG or something like that. It was
break
really
arm
nice.
speed.
Yes, break arm speed.
Break arm speed, which leads us to the finish of the match where Del Rio put on we possibly thought Christian broke his arm.
Yeah, and he put on a cross arm breaker.
Put on the cross arm, tapped him
Christian,
out.
it looked like Christian was going to win for a sec.
It really did.
Because he had Del Rio on his back, and I thought they were going to go with Del Rio got counters, his shoulders were on the mat, and then he'd lose. But
which would be really interesting.
Del Rio rolled it back in. It looked like a legitimate armbar when he rolled it back in.
Yeah.
Del Rio got the 1, 2, 3. He pulled a kind of a face.
He didn't even get the 1, 2, 3. He got the tap out.
The tap. That's what I meant.
He got the tap out.
It's late, people. That's what I meant. Yeah. But it was. And then he did a really face promo at the end.
That was the weird part because he was like, "I'm the champion of the people, the champion of the Latinos," and it's like, aren't you supposed to be the bad guy?
And that's what I
Aren't you supposed to be the dick bag because you took down your knee pad to give Christian a concussion? Am I supposed to champion?
And this is the thing too. I thought they did so well because Ziggler is one of my. I love Ziggler's wrestling.
Ziggler Stardust, right?
Ziggler Stardust. And you went to payback, and you built up how vicious Del Rio can be, how big of a scumbag Del Rio is, because he went for Ziggler's concussion the whole time, built in Ziggler up as this big hero, and now Del Rio, after he destroys Ricardo on Raw, and now you're supposed to like think he's a face? He kicked Ricardo's head into the steel steps into a ring post.
I don't get it. I think they're trying to push something here.
Yeah, I guess because it was LA.
They're trying to make him a tweener, I think, where it's like, oh, well, he's a hero to the Mexicans, but not a hero to the Americans, and this, that. They're trying to do like a Bret Hart sort of deal, but it just doesn't work because the guy's vicious and brutal. He should be a heel. He should be like a ruthless, callous guy. Anyway. Rating, I'd give this one definitely 5. I would go fuck Meltzer. This is a 5-star.
I'd give a 5 also because
really good.
But this is another one where sometimes I don't understand the booking. Me personally, since it's a world title, I thought it should have been much lower on the card. Mm-hmm. That maybe. Because I know they like having cooldown matches in between the world title matches.
No, but I like the fact that it's a little bit higher up.
To get the fans into it more?
I like it how it's a little bit higher up. That way, you get all these like stupid little small matches, and then you get the world title.
Right.
Then stupid small matches, then you get to the big feud, then stupid small matches, then you get to the world title, which is
the
formula
You're right about
of this
that.
is. And I like it. And I prefer it over just the world title being the opening title. That should be the U.S. title.
I hate that.
That should be the Intercontinental title. It should not be the... By the way, no Intercontinental title match, which is a big down negative on my part.
I did not like that either.
Anyway, where were we? Next match was the Total Divas match, which I kind of liked because I am a mark for Natalya. She is beautiful and gorgeous. And it was Natalya and the Funkadactyls against...
Brie Bella.
Actually, no, it was Natalya versus Brie Bella. It's just those two.
They had people from the show.
From their respective
It was
shows.
more just a match that didn't have... My thoughts I'm going to give right now because it takes me a minute. I have seen the show.
Which one? Total Divas?
Yes. It's not horrible. There's a reason it has so many viewers. But I just thought it was to showcase Eva Marie, who's their main one they're pushing now because she's gorgeous and she's their new marketable person. I think, along with the Bellas, because
Cough, Paige. Anyway.
Well, Paige, I'm sure she's really marketable in NXT. I'm sure she'll be even more when they bring her up to the main roster. I think right when they bring Paige up to the main roster, she should get a title match. Because she's that good.
But yeah, like this whole match was pretty interesting.
It was a promo for a TV show.
It was a promo for a TV show, but yet Natalya won, and I can't wait for the episode where she wears lingerie next to Tyson Kidd, who I want to lynch.
So
anyway,
I give it 2 stars.
I don't know. I'll bump it up to 3.
Just 2 stars, right around here, right?
Fuck you. Anyway.
I'll give it 2 stars. I'd probably give it 3 if it actually had more of a plot.
Yeah.
But they're taking more...
Yeah, Tyler watches it for the plot.
I do.
He watches it for the plot, then he'll love the next match. Which he did, and I fucking hated. Anyway.
It's not in my top 3, though. It's not in my top 3 favorites. It's not even in my top 5.
Go right ahead. Continue.
But I wish it would have had more meaning. So yes, I would have liked the match more if it was based around an actual story, not a television show. That's why it's on 3 stars.
I'd give it 3 stars because of Natalya.
Yes.
Sorry.
This is an Italian mark.
Sorry. I watch Shimmer. People just go watch Shimmer and watch the greatness of Lufisto and Natalya and Sarah Del Rey and awesome wrestlers. Anyway, especially awesome butts. Anyway.
All right, the next match.
Anyway. Oh, it's, Brock Lesnar?
Yes. All right, this is the thing. When we first watched it on a pay-per-view, I was in total Mark mode because CM Punk is one of my favorites. I like Lesnar, and I was really looking forward to the match. After seeing some of the highlights for the match, it was not as hyped up as I hyped myself up for it. To me, Lesnar he's been having really good matches since he came back. Really good to great. But this is the thing. You have CM Punk. CM Punk is a very good wrestler. He's very good. But Lesnar almost feels like he was too big to make it look like an actual match. It more was like, and for a no DQ match, people, it made sense when they had, you know, Triple H versus The Undertaker at 27 was no DQ because they used weapons, and that was just an all-out, drag-out fight. It made sense when they had Triple H versus Brock Lesnar, even though that wasn't my favorite match of all time. It was a fight. They made it feel like a fight. This seemed more like a match that they just added a no DQ thing on to say, we're having a gimmick match.
So that we could have the ending where Brock Lesnar gives
CM Punk an F5 onto a chair and kills
give him a concussion. So, look, alright. I said earlier that this show was riddled with surprises, and this was a surprise to me because this match, I think, is probably the worst match on the card. I will go as far as to say that. I am being completely honest. Just downright honest. Maybe Rhodes Scholars is on there. And it's not like the worst isn't like the worst. It's like more of a 2.5, not like a 1. Here's my issue with it. The psychology of the match is fucking stupid.
Yeah.
It's a stupid match. Because here's CM Punk. He beats, first off, the majority of the match, CM Punk beats the shit out of Brock Lesnar. And then all of a sudden, because Paul Heyman just jumps in one time, he just loses all focus against Brock Lesnar and goes straight for Paul Heyman for the rest of the match. And he fucks himself over. He screws himself over because he's an idiot.
Right.
They booked Punk to be an idiot. They made him an idiot.
I agree with you totally. And I totally agree with you with the psychology being horrible.
It was dumb. It was like if you beat up somebody in a match, do you want to go straight for their manager, or do you want to finish the fight, then go after the manager?
Because think about it like this way, too. I think Punk, this year, has had some of the best matches of his career. But if you look at those, they've been matches against people... Jericho, Undertaker, The Rock. And for people who go, oh, The Rock is... People who don't even like The Rock, CM Punk made him... It was like watching the old Rock wrestle again. Because they went for 25 minutes constantly, and they went all out. His match with The Undertaker, one of my favorite WrestleMania matches because of the story behind it.
Absolutely.
And the selling was insane. And Undertaker went after Heyman some points, but he didn't go after him. He focused on Punk. He didn't go after Heyman. And of course, everyone knows of the great chemistry between CM Punk and Jericho. So, but, you know, Lesnar to me, there's a reason they put him in matches against Cena and Triple H.
Because he's a big, bulky dude.
Right.
That was the other problem I had. It doesn't seem believable that a guy that's, like the size of our cameraman over there can beat the shit out of the guy that looks like the Hulk.
Right.
It doesn't look believable at all. And it especially doesn't look believable after he's beaten the shit out of him 25 minutes into the match, and then all of a sudden, because he just loses focus for 5 seconds, the big brooding guy that he beat the fuck out of for the majority of the match gets the win.
I agree with the one thing he said, Liam, too, was... He said in, I think, the previous trying to record this. I think the match should have been Curtis Axel versus CM Punk.
It should have. It should have honestly been Curtis Axel versus CM Punk. They should have built this up for a long time.
And if you want to have Lesnar in a match, have him go against someone else. Maybe the original plan was to have him go against The Rock. Or have him go against... Like, not take Lesnar off the show because Lesnar does draw and buys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe put him... Maybe for...
Have him be the guy that, like, we have the Curtis Axel match, but CM Punk's about to win. Lesnar comes in and screws him. That could have built up for the more matches in the future where it's the Heyman family against CM Punk.
And also what I was kind of thinking, too, it sounds a little far-fetched. Think about it, people. They had the WWE title match. They never had the rematch from Extreme Rules last year.
And who's that?
Lesnar versus Cena.
Yeah, well, you know, who gives a fuck?
Or, like, take Triple H away from being the special referee and have Lesnar in there.
As a special guest referee?
Yeah, or have him as an enforcer or something. Have Triple H as special guest referee, have Lesnar as the enforcer. Conflict. Not have Lesnar thrown into some match where...
You know, he's gonna win because he's Lesnar. It's stupid.
So I'd give the match, I'd give it a 2.5 out of 5.
I would agree with that. It's not, I'm saying it's the worst match on the card, but it's not like the most abomination.
There was a lot of great
piece
matches
shit.
on the show.
It's because it's competing with Christian Del Rio, which I think is the best match on the card.
Cena, Daniel Bryan.
On his mode. I would go with the next match, Ziggler, Big E, and all those guys, because Ziggler sold like a motherfucker. You know, even Wyatt Kane was a lot better than Punk Brock, and I know for a fact these smucks. I want to go straight out, small rant. Smarks that are gonna go out like off the rope show or off the mark show or the guys over at whatever the fuck it's called, they were formed. I can't remember the name. Fuck them. The table turners that shit on TNA but jerk off over over CM Punk and Brock Lesnar and anything Heyman touches. Yeah, this match sucked. The psychology was stupid. Sorry. It was a dumb match. Suck this.
Next match.
Yeah.
Was genuinely really entertaining because of the people who were in it.
And a lot better, actually.
A lot better.
A lot better.
And it was Dolph Ziggler and Caitlyn.
Dolph Ziggler and
versus
Caitlyn.
AJ Lee and a personal favorite of mine,
Biggie Langston. Five, motherfucker.
The thing I liked about this match was it's been building up for close to a year.
Really?
Ziggler and AJ going up to, you know, they were like in this psycho relationship, and then all of a sudden you're waiting for her to snap or Ziggler to be tired of her, and him turning face was like that thing, and her screwing him over at Money in the Bank. And Big E is just awesome.
Big E's the fucking man.
People go, oh, he's not a real wrestler.
He's Black Scott Steiner.
Have you seen him wrestle in NXT?
5, baby.
He's
5.
awesome in NXT.
The 5 count, baby.
They just haven't. That's just the thing with NXT. When they get brought over to WWE sometimes, they completely take away the gimmick.
Absolutely.
He's so much. But he's awesome in WWE, and he's a good wrestler for a guy his size.
Absolutely.
And he can sell like a son of a bitch.
Yeah, he's Steiner when Steiner was good.
Steiner.
A lot of people, Mullet Steiner. A lot of people call him Black Brock. I call him
Black Steiner.
I call him Black Steiner.
Bliner.
Yes, because he has the build of Scott Steiner.
Without the steroids. Without the
steroids. The guy's fucking big, and he's not one of these guys that's like, I'm gonna inject it. No, he's a legit like bodybuilder.
And pairing him with AJ is great because I'm a personal fan of AJ Lee.
The women's division, Caitlyn's beautiful. But on that note, that brings to me one of my problems with it, and I think a lot of people have this problem, is when it comes to mixed tag matches. Why are we treating the women like lesser competitors?
Right.
It's kind of scummy.
I kind of disagree with it on this match because I don't think they did it in this match. They had, and I kind of like what they did because they had the two big. They did it the right way because they had the two big feuds coming together. Because Caitlyn and AJ have been feuding for close to 2 years, and it makes sense for them to just go all out. And I think too, people would maybe say something because you've got like it was smaller wrestlers, but you've got a guy like Big E in there, and him throwing around Caitlyn, that would be a little. But
Absolutely.
I would have loved. Even though it sounds extremely mean, for Dolph Ziggler to have hit AJ with the zigzag.
I mean, because it's like, hey, look, you look at Chikara, you have Sarah Del Rey beating the shit out of, like, half of the male roster.
Well, she's pretty beefy.
Yeah, I mean, but, still, she's, like, I mean, I can understand not beating up Tursis, but she beat the fuck out of,
I get what you mean,
big,
though.
bold guys.
The only reason I say what I'm saying, though, is since they're also... And I'm one of the people who are not against PG because I don't feel a need every match to be blood and gore.
Yeah, because the stupid Attitude Era, guys, another 5-minute rant that's going to be bolted down to 5 seconds. If you believe in Attitude Era, I got one word for you. Benoit. Fuck you. Anyway,
because, I don't need blood and gore in it. I would like it sometimes with the Hell in a Cell matches, or with a high drama match. But a lot of time nowadays, high drama matches, they do have blood in it. The last Lesnar versus Triple H the last 2 times had blood in it, and Cena versus Lesnar, they were both like geysering out blood.
If it's used dramatically, I have no problem with it. If it's used for every single match, like in the Attitude Era, it just kills the whole
If you've got 25 minutes of guys going like that, I don't want that. I
don't want ECW.
I don't want to feel like I'm watching. I don't want to feel like I'm watching CZW or
XPW.
IWA Mid South or XPW because I
That's
like
garbage.
wrestling, but I don't like gross out wrestling. And sometimes that is gross out wrestling.
I don't want ECW. I want legitimate. I want Dragon Gate.
Right. And if you look at this show, even with like the CM Punk Lesnar match not being the best, being one of the worst Punk matches I've seen in a while, I'm gonna get a lot of criticism for that. Going, oh, you're not a real Punk fan.
Yeah, suck a dick.
Well, yeah, suck a dick.
Suck a dick.
I've been a fan of Punk's for 13 years. I can have a different opinion.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, just to let you guys know, Austin Aries is a better Punk than Punk. Anyway.
But for this match, and I have to say too, the whole fucking show said before, Caitlyn is on the list for some of the best spears.
Some of the best
She
spears.
looked like she killed AJ Lee.
Spears.
Our cameraman thought she had killed AJ Lee.
Legit, just murdered.
And it was a spear on the outside. When do you see women taking bumps like that, especially in WWE?
Absolutely.
So I'd give the match a 4.
I wouldn't go that high. I would say like maybe 3.5.
A 4 on a women, but I'm talking about for an intergen. A regular match, a 3.5.
For an intergender
For an
match.
intergender match, a 4.
It's a 4. Alright, yeah, I gotcha. The ending was great. Ziggler wins.
Brutal spear.
I'd give it a 3.5.
Awesome zigzag too.
I'd give it a 3.5, and I definitely think, being quite honest here, upper mid card, Big E Langston, expect that in about 5 months.
Yes.
If not
I'm really
4.
looking forward to his feud if he has a full-on feud of Ziggler.
Because it would be fantastic. Alright,
Oh,
so
right.
before we get to the main event, I forgot to mention this part, and this was one of the best moments. I'd give this an up. Ryback as a bully. How do you feel about this gimmick?
I feel it
Like-
is awesome.
Like last week he killed Drake Younger.
Yes.
This week he beat up some guy that looked like, I don't
Poured
know,
soup down his shirt.
poured soup down his
This-
shirt.
Yes,
This soup-
the caterer.
Yes.
The caterer.
This soup is cold. It's supposed
To be cold.
Take this away.
It's the best. He is like the greatest 80s villain. And when, my favorite part of that whole bit was when the caterer's like, it's supposed to be cold. It's, what was the soup?
Gazpacho.
Gazpacho.
I knew that.
I knew that. It's like, that is typical 80s stupid right there. It's the best.
There's a reason why they gave him the O'Doyle rules gimmick. RYBACK rules.
It's the reason why they gave him a 80s bully gimmick.
'Cause
He's
he's a-
perfect. He's awesome. I love it to death. Great. Fantastic gimmick. Some people may call him a cryback or whatever the fuck. He's awesome. Fuck you.
Our cameraman is giving us a.
So we might as well get to the main
All right,
event.
but main event because we still have to do our top 5 best and top 3 best.
Which we
in
might
each
save for something else
Yes.
because I need a recharge.
The main event was excellent. There's just something about these past 3 years of SummerSlam where the main events have been amazing.
I would
Excellent.
disagree, but okay, go right ahead.
Or to good, at least. Great to good. Me and Liam, obviously, that's what makes us the whole smack talk is we have differing opinions.
The main
sometimes.
event, I will give it to you this way. It was a good main event. I did not think it was one of the better matches of the night. There were some great moments. I think Daniel Bryan doing the tarantula suplex off the T-bone. By the way, it's the Daniel Bryan versus John Cena feud. I really did like the fact that John Cena kind of sort of came off heelish here.
Very
But
heelish.
he didn't come off as Hogan face heelish.
No.
Where it was like, I'm the hero, you should be cheering me.
Like, he
Let's
seemed-
boo the people that are
He
right.
seemed like a dickhead in some parts of
He
this
came
match.
off as like a huge douchebag. But Daniel Bryan was fantastic. Great work. I love the opening spot where they actually had a wrestling move in a John Cena match.
Right.
Sorry. And I like the fact that even John Cena was doing some good stuff. The ending was great. Daniel Bryan wins, not from any of his signature moves, but from a Shining Wizard.
A brutal-looking Shining Wizard. If you would have seen it, John Cena flew back at least 2 feet after he got kicked in the head.
I wasn't even sure if that was a Shining Wizard.
I thought he
at
was
first.
dead. I thought Cena was dead because he did not move the rest of the time until after the match. And after the match, one of the most dramatic things.
We'll get to that, but Daniel Bryan.
Basically covering all the
It
bases.
was it was a good match. It was just the problem is that it was competing up with Del Rios, Christian, RVD, Dane Ambrose. Great workers and great storyline matches. And I feel as though it had a great storyline. I just don't think, again, it goes back to, sorry for being the Cena hater, but Cena not being a good worker, kind of coming off as like a mediocre wrestler worker. More of a sports entertainer, and he got the sports entertainment part perfectly. It's just like certain moments came off a little bit botchy, a little bit weird. Daniel Bryan held up this match, the majority of it. The opening part was mainly Bryan, and it was awesome as shit. And I'll give it a 4.
With me, I enjoyed it a little more than Liam did, but the thing I saw too was. I think it's just because of, when you see Cena go against certain people, sometimes he can have really great matches, like the matches he has with Punk, like especially at Night of Champions, SummerSlam, and Money in the Bank. The atmosphere is something that really helps with that. Yes, you got the whole arena cheating, yes, when Daniel Bryan won.
That was stuff that's great. Goes to my number 1 of the night, but we'll get to that.
But then when you think of the matches with Punk, you have both of them. First match they had was in Chicago. It was insane, the crowd. SummerSlam was insane, but more mixed, because it was a neutral ground. And then, of course, at Night of Champions last year, it was in Paul Heyman country, New York.
Was it Philadelphia?
New York.
I thought Paul Heyman.
No,
country
Boston. It
was
was Boston. I was wrong. So it was Cena country.
It was Kevin Scampoli country.
Yes, it was Kevin Scampoli. And it was Cena country. But I think the thing that made the Night of Champions match was Punk came out in pinstripes, and the people were chanting for CM Punk.
It's.
But after you get so nurtured with great technical matches with Cena in them, after a while this is gonna stop soon, and then we're gonna go back, because you get a great match a few months of a year from Cena, and then you get shit and more shit and more shit.
It's more entertainment than it's more of the Big Daddy matches than Antonio and Inoki.
Right, and it just reminded me a little too much of the Punk matches.
I liked it a lot. So what would you give it?
I'd give it a 4.5.
4.5. I'd give it a 4.
But
this match is not.
This match is not
Who cares
over.
about the match?
Can I go over
Who cares about the match? Because Tyler's going to tell you the
All
ending.
right. So
Don't go super in detail.
Daniel Bryan won the belt after the Shining Wizard from Hell. Everyone was excited. You got the the paper come from the sky.
Confetti
Come from the sky.
The paper. The dollars.
It looked a little fishy.
Oh man, there's some moon
There
cheese
was a lot
falling
of
down.
Titantron
There was a lot of
shots. Let's just
Titantron
put it
shots.
that way.
There was a lot of Triple H standing there awkwardly. Cena did the Hogan Warrior
Shake off and walk away.
Yeah, but he pulled it great because it wasn't as touching as WrestleMania 6.
It came off as, you beat me, I'm pissed off at you, but hey,
Because he did a really
Did a good
hard push to Daniel Bryan. Hogan, he almost just brought him around and he put the belt on him.
Yeah.
Cena didn't do that. Cena, from what I heard, he maybe... Because when you see he had a giant elbow pad on.
The Lance Storm elbow pad.
Lance Storm elbow pad of doom. And they did a lot of things where the ref... Stupid shit, like... That I don't think should have been the match. Or just going explaining why Cena had the elbow pad on.
Yeah.
But, you fans tomorrow night, when you're watching Raw...
Is it Daniel Bryan's the champion, Tyler?
You're not gonna see Daniel Bryan holding that 12 pounds of gold, are
What?
you?
You mean that Daniel Bryan lost? The internet darling got his ass kicked?
All right.
How?
So, there's been rumors circulating around that Triple H was gonna turn heel at some point.
What? No.
And that Vince was gonna be a face, and then something was gonna happen down the line. I'm not a smart, So I'm not giving away all that information. Because that would be really douchey.
Because then we'd just be reporting ourselves as Bleacher fans.
We'd be catering to you guys way too much.
We're not Bleacher fans,
Orton
goddamn.
comes out. Orton with that heel beard. That's when I knew he was going to turn heel. When you have a beard like that. He opens it up. Daniel Bryan is like, yes, yes, yes.
Fuck you.
I was wondering why. Why is Triple H still in the ring? Why is Triple H really close behind him? Orton goes up the ramp. Daniel Bryan does a little thing. Triple H turns around. Pedigree of Doom.
Pedigree.
He killed Daniel Bryan.
Orton rushes in. He's kind of like, I don't know which one to do. And
Hands
Triple
it in.
H kind of, lets him hand it in.
Uno. Dos Tres.
Orton's
wins. New champion.
Orton's the new champion, but here's the good thing, he's a heel.
Yes.
It's not Orton face
And
where he's
Triple H
like...
is a heel now, too.
So that's interesting.
So, it was... I didn't want it to come.
But it was a very interesting moment. I was watching
He was red-faced. He looked like he was
I
about to
was
cry.
watching it, and I'll be quite honest, because of the dramatic tension throughout of it, I was pissed. I was honest to God. Like, for a fucking scripted show, I was pissed. I was pissed. Literally pissed. I don't get pissed at watching wrestling matches unless it's Triple H being a dickhead. But right that moment, this guy who is the biggest face in the company, everybody in the crowd loves him, everything's going well. Orton, the schmuck douchebag that the only people that people like him for are because he probably has a big penis and fangirls love that, comes out and they screw him. They Montreal his ass.
And then you get Triple H going.
And Triple H fucking
And
digging
show.
into the fucking thing, and it really, really
So basically,
emotionally got me there.
the thing that people have been saying probably is going to happen at WrestleMania.
Which is what? Orton's gonna keep it until John Cena?
No, the thing with Triple H and Vince.
Oh.
But, I'm looking forward to what this is going to lead on to. I'm going to watch Raw.
I won't. I'll just watch the highlights. But yeah, it was a great show.
I'll watch it on the stream.
So yeah, fuck it.
Yeah.
All right.
Alright.
So top three.
My
bottom
top
three.
three.
Fuck you! Get out of the shot.
My top three are. Get out here, Butler. You don't love
He's
me.
gonna heel turn on you.
He's
so
gonna
bad.
Yeah, I'm gonna heel
He's
turn
got
on
the
you.
beard. He's gonna Orton.
He's gonna Orton.
Whatever. You keep talking about your final
Alright,
four. I don't give a shit.
Number three was for me.
What? Top or bottom?
Top three.
Top three. Go.
Number three for me was the Ring of Fire match. Because I thought it was pretty good. Number two for me was number three was the mixed tag match. Fuck you. Was the mixed
Woo,
tag.
Stone Cold.
Was the mixed.
Woo!
Was the mixed tag match. Number two was
Go.
was Daniel
Ignore
Bryan
him.
versus Cena, and number one was Christian versus Del Rio.
I would probably do the same exact thing, but I would be more specific. Number three is most likely going to be... Oh, wait, no, actually, no. I don't even think Bray Wyatt makes it, unfortunately. I'm set. Fuck you guys. Number three would be Ambrose and RVD.
Right, I forgot about the pre-show. Switch out the mixed tag, switch out Cena and Bryan, put in Ambrose versus RVD.
That was a fantastic match. The crowd was behind it all the way. Beautiful, fantastic, loved it. My number two, it would have been number one if it hadn't been for something else, was Christian Del Rio. Christian Del Rio is basically the best match on the card. Loved it to death.
Is your number one the fun I think it's gonna be?
And what's that? Fuck you, no. I love Natalia, but no. Very fantastic match, beautiful, awesome. And my number one, call me a sucker, the crowd was amazing. I'm giving it number one to the crowd. The crowd made
Cena
this pay-per-view
versus...
suck a dick. Look, the crowd tonight here made this pay-per-view. Matches that were like 1 star were bumped up to 3. Matches that were 2 star were bumped up to
45 minutes, damn, you have to
3.5. Matches that were 5 stars were given the credit they deserved. Why? Because the people in the crowd really loved it. I remember 2 matches, which were Rob Van Dam, Dean Ambrose, and Christian Christian Del Rio were getting "This Is Awesome" chants by almost everybody in the audience and almost everybody in the crowd. My love for the RVD chants during the pre-show, during when he was about to do the leg drop, was enormous. I loved it.
What is your number one?
My number one is the crowd.
Oh.
My number one is the crowd of tonight because they were so awesome, so fantastic.
See,
Not because they were smarks, but because they sat there and enjoyed a show. They loved the show.
Tyler McMichaels gives you what
Tyler
you want.
McMichaels, fuck you.
Look,
That's your
Liam just
feelings.
cops out.
My top
don't cop
three.
out.
You copped
Liam
out.
is the clip show of the
Look, everyone knows the best part of the night is when CM Punk pinned Rush Limbaugh, right? Best part. Bravo.
All right. Speaking of CM Punk tapping out Rush Limbaugh, my number three.
We should do bottom now. This is
My
bottom.
bottom three of the, since it was not
Stop that. Fuck you.
since it was not god awful, CM Punk vs. Lesnar could have been a lot better. Number two was Natalya versus Brie.
You suck a dick. Is it because of Natalia?
No.
Oh, it's because of Brie?
I hate Nikki Bella, so that's
Oh,
why.
okay. That's
And
good.
I hate the Funkadactyls.
Oh, but they have nice booties. They
So
are
does-
the booty women.
So does Eva Marie.
They are the booty women. Where's the booty man? Where the hell is fucking Brie?
His career's dead.
Oh, okay.
Number one, I'm sad to say, Cody wrote. Since I didn't really experience it well, and
Don't put it on the list. Or put it on the list. Fine, fuck it. It's your list.
there was nothing else. I could not.
Put on the Divas match as your number one.
Divas match is number one. Number two
is Punk and Brock, and then what would be number three?
Number three would be Kane versus.
You are a cunt.
There was no other matches.
Are you no, you don't have to pick a match because I didn't pick matches.
I don't cop
Number
out.
three was CM Punk and Brock Lesnar. I'm saying this before. If any smark wants to say that I'm an idiot, they can suck my nuts.
You're an
the
idiot.
Psychology was awful. The story was so hyped up, but they messed it up because the psychology of the match blew dick. Number two was the motherfucking Miz segments. I fucking
That's not a
hated them.
match.
It doesn't mean a match. Is the Miz segments. They were awful, pointless, waste of time, bullshit, didn't
three.
need to exist. Fuck them. And my number one, out of them all of them, out of everything tonight, has got to be the commercials.
I thought you were going to say Doritos.
Oh yeah, Doritos.
Fuck Doritos.
We didn't even mention the Doritos
Hey,
guy.
what's wrong with Doritos, Jack?
Doritos.
It needs me the maltodextrin I
would
need.
Put Doritos as number two and the Miz segments
Fuck
as
that
number one.
dickhead too who won because I didn't want to see his fucking face.
We didn't even mention that in the Dolph Ziggler match.
I'm mentioning this
In
right
the
now. That
only
guy's
ma-
a fucking dickhead. He won tickets, right? He was the front row. No, he sat in front of the announcers' tables. I would have laughed if Biggie Langston fucking destroyed him.
It wasn't even a front row. It was a front four chairs.
He had to.
Worst.
He had to get splashed by fucking Mark Henry. Mark Henry didn't actually splash you, jackass. He was 6 inches off of you. You shouldn't have won the contest. I should have won the contest. I don't even live near California. You suck, Doritos guy. You suck. Your girlfriend was ugly too. Guys, for possibly watching this video that we have taken time to make. In all honesty though, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this.
If you enjoyed us being assholes, like, comment, or subscribe because we're YouTube.
or watch
whores.
more of our commentaries.
Just focus more on the commentaries bit, just not the. Like,
No Way Out
commenting
is
and
out,
subscribing.
and then Taboo Tuesday should be out soon, depending
Should be
on when this
coming
is
out
put up.
on the same week.
And then so should EWA soon.
EWA will be in 2 more weeks.
So
after this week.
thank you for watching, and have a great night.
All right, sayonara, guys.
Bang bang.
Don't eat Doritos.